Tonight, we'll be taking a look at the arrest made at Skybar, the updated mask mandate, and inaccessibility on Auburn's campus. We will follow with our sports segment with Vince Wolfram, and we'll end by announcing the National Day, as well as our adorable pet of the week. All of that and more coming up on Eagle Eye's Thursday News at 6. Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Nicholas Wetzel.
And I'm Jakai Spikes. Yesterday, February 23rd, Pat Grider, the owner of Skybar Cafe on West Magnolia Avenue, was arrested for misdemeanor sexual misconduct. Grider was booked into the Lee County Detention Facility and made a $1,000 bound on the same day. Grider is scheduled for a municipal court date on March 15th. Attorney Davis Whitlassey represents Grider in his case and said that his client denies the allegations. The Auburn Assistant Police Chief, Clarence Stewart, released a statement stating that the Auburn police received a complaint from someone who identified Pat Grider as the suspect, as well as signed a warrant. The Auburn Police Division executed the warrant, and Grider was arrested on one count of sexual misconduct under the elements that detail lack of consent or obtaining consent through fraud or artifice. Police are not commenting on specific details at this time.
Last Friday, Auburn University officials announced to students, faculty, and employees that starting February 23rd, the university would no longer require the use of masks inside on-campus buildings, regardless of vaccination status. The announcement, made via email, stresses that face coverings should still be worn in healthcare settings, university transportation services such as tighter transit buses, and other specified areas on campus. The email also notes that faculty members reserve the right to require individuals to wear masks during class instruction as a requirement of the course. For more information regarding the change in policy at Auburn University, visit our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and search mask mandate.
1 week ago, the Plainsman published an article about the sexual misconduct of Dr. Richard Hansen, the dean of the Harrison School of Pharmacy. Eagle Eye's AJ Rivera sat down with the author, Trice Brown, in the latest episode of Plain Talk.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Plain Talk. I'm your host AJ Rivera, and today I'm joined by Trice Brown. Trice is the multimedia managing editor for the Plainsman. Trice, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, AJ. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Glad to have you with us. So recently, you wrote an investigative article about the sexual misconduct of Richard Hansen, who is the now former dean of the Harrison School of Pharmacy. Can you take me through that article and your investigative process in writing it?
Right. So I wrote this story with the news editor, Mai Lee, and the two of us, we initially heard from the victim through like an anonymous Twitter account. It was actually her friend. But we got in contact with them and we started looking into the story. Initially, we thought the story was going to be about the dean being suspended, because at that time, that's what the information that we had suggested. And a lot of it involved going to a lot of different offices and being ping-ponged around, trying to figure out what it all could be confirmed as related to the case, because a lot of the stuff is not in public record just because of the nature of Title IX. But we exhausted pretty much every resource that we could. We collected all the documents that we could from the victim, and then we just hammered it out. It did not, obviously turn out the way we ended, because we thought it was going to be about his suspension. But I think it's honestly stranger that he wasn't, and then there was all of that. I think I described in the story where she was told he was going to be suspended, but then she was told, again, by Title IX that he wouldn't be suspended and they would not share what they would actually be doing. It was just a lot of very strange encounters and a lot of difficulties, but I'm glad that it's finally out and done.
Right, absolutely. So, as you talked about, with it being sexual misconduct of a, dean, Title IX being involved, what were your biggest takeaways about the Title IX process through, you looking into this story?
Right, so before this story, I'd never really done anything with Title IX. The closest thing I could think of was that an editor who used to work with us did a story explaining Title IX, but I did not really understand the policy or its kind of sister policy, the policy against discrimination and harassment, which is kind of like the off-campus version of that. I did not have any real experience with it, but I think thinking about it now, I'd say we often think of Title IX as like this agent to bring justice to a victim, but I honestly don't really think that is its primary purpose. In speaking with other people who are very familiar with Title IX, when I was writing this story, and also just in the process of writing in all of the problems that we encountered with it, I'd say the definite purpose of Title IX is to limit a university's liability in cases of sexual harassment or any kind of discrimination. I think that was probably the biggest takeaway for me, was that it's a lot of things are not designed. Well, a lot of things are designed so that like secrecy is maintained. So, for example, there is this policy in recording meetings that are in a Title IX hearing, where the university is the only like group that is able to make recordings of any meetings related to that. Like a victim cannot make their own recordings and then, for example, share it with us. So a lot of it is that there's not. It's not as like cut and dry, I guess, as we like to think of it as.
Gotcha. So it's been a few days now since this story was published on y'all's website. What has been the public response to seeing this article and hearing this story?
I think the public response was a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be. I think people have been really, outraged. They've been very surprised. I was shared this email from the pharmacy department that came out the same day that we published the story earlier in the day, where it was like, hey, pharmacy students, Dean Hansen's doing, it's gonna let you park in his parking spot for a day for like the next like 24 days or something. Just kind of some promotional thing. And then we published the story around like noon, maybe 1, something like that. And then we got a lot of positive response on social media, on our website. I think it was a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be, which I think is very encouraging.
So the university and Eagle Eye reached out as a follow-up when this story broke. We reached out to the university about, the details regarding former Dean Hansen's resignation. And it came to our attention, as I'm sure it came to yours, that while he is resigned and is no longer the dean of the school, he still remains as a tenured professor. What was your reaction to that? Right.
In my speaking with Preston Sparks from OCM, he's still a professor. He is not currently teaching students, so I guess we're not sure like if he will in the future. But I think in understanding that was a little bit of a surprise. It felt like there was a lot of back and forth initially, I guess. Like there have been so many things in these cases where it's like we thought one thing was happening and then it turned out something else was happening. This kind of felt like a strange continuation of that. I think especially the response on social media has not been very good in terms of that. I was personally kind of surprised that happened, but also not really. It's just in cases like this, it's like things like that happen. Like people, they find a way, I guess. Yeah.
Gotcha. So where can the public find your article so they can read it for themselves?
Yeah, so they can find that at our website. That is theplainsman.com. I believe it is still the top story on the homepage, but if not, it'll be somewhere on there. or you can check our social media. They've been getting a lot of traction there, so you'll definitely be able to find it.
Alrighty, well, for everyone watching at home, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Plain Talk. As always, Eagle Eye will be doing follow-up coverage on this story and all story and news in the Auburn area. You can check that out on our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, or on our social medias at Eagle Eye TV. I'm your host, AJ Rivera, and War Eagle.
The Auburn University COVID Resource Center has reported 77 new positive COVID cases for the week of February 7th through the 13th. This number is a slight decrease from the previous week's number of 133 cases, continuing a consistent decline, and marking the first week with a number below 100 since Auburn students arrived back on campus for the spring semester. In addition, the center has reported that out of 244 on-campus administered tests, 38 came back with a positive result. That is a 15.5% positivity rate, a slight decrease from the previous week's 19.5%. The East Alabama Medical Center has seen a greater number of hospitalizations and ventilator usage since the start of the new semester. The center itself continues to reside in visitation level red. You can stay updated on Auburn's COVID situation by visiting the Auburn COVID Resource Center website.
This week's update with Involvement Ambassador President Travis Harrison will help anyone looking to get more involved here on campus. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's going on? I hope everyone is having a good week and is ready for our weekly involvement segment. First up, the application to be Involvement Ambassador is open right now. You can find the application on our AU Involved page. Make sure that you're signed in, that way you can see it. It's a very unique position and we're looking for all students. Whether you've never set foot in our office or you're a regular and you're involved in many organizations, you may be a great Involvement Ambassador. The application will be open until March 14th. Monday is Aubie's birthday. We will all be celebrating Aubie's birthday from 12 to 2 over by the Aubie Experience exhibit on the second floor of the Student Center. It is Aubie's 43rd birthday, so make sure to stop by, sign a picture with Aubie, sign a birthday card, and grab a treat. On Tuesday, the Ladies Society of Collegiate Success are hosting a friendship bracelet making event. It'll be on Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 in the Student Center, room 2223. The bracelets that you'll be making are going to be donated, so come to the Student Center, make friendship bracelets for a good cause, and meet some new people. On Wednesday, there's going to be another info session about Aubie tryouts. The session will be Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. in the Student Center, room 2310. The info session will cover everything that you need to know about the tryout process, so if you're wanting to try out, make sure you're there. It's also mandatory to attend at least one session. If you're unable to go to this one, there's going to be more on AU Involve. And as always, make sure to go on AU Involve and check out all the other events that we have going on. I hope everyone is getting ready for midterms and even more ready for spring break. Thank you, and War Eagle.
When we return from this short break, we'll take a look at the exhibition at the Jewel Collins Smith Museum, as well as Weather Awareness Week. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. The Advocates for Disabilities at Auburn, or ADA, was established in January of 2020 to spread awareness of disabilities, help solve disability-related issues, and create a welcoming environment for all. Their meetings focus on problems the members have observed on campus and around it, as well as discussing solutions and voicing frustrations on the lack of accessibility on campus. Academic buildings, campus dorm buildings, sports fields, and stadiums are all places where members of the ADA have pointed out many things that are difficult to access for someone with a disability. Abby Tucker, ADA president, emphasized the importance of an accessible campus and offered basic but necessary solutions to solve some of these problems, such as adding railings to stadium stairs and installing more automatic doors.
The Lee County Humane Society has always been a wonderful place for stray cats and dogs in the Auburn area. Eagle Eye's Jakai Spikes and Jack West will tell you more on what they do as an organization.
Located at 1140 Ware Drive, the Lee County Humane Society has been around since 1974 as a solution to the growing problem of stray animals. Their mission is to advance humane treatment and find homes for these lovely animals through community education, animal sheltering, and adoption. The Lee County Humane Society envisions a future in which animals are truly valued. This year, they are focusing on some New Year's resolutions, such as fostering a shelter pet, volunteering at the society, and adopting your new best friend. These resolutions are all ways in which you can help better the animals. Their hours of operation are 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. They are currently accepting walk-ins during their adoption hours, though appointments are highly recommended. Their adoption process ensures that you find a happy furry friend that fits with your lifestyle. I can guarantee you that cats are purring and tails are wagging at Lee County Humane Society. One dog we were lucky enough to meet was Ears. His former owners had cut off his ears in an attempt to give him a clipped look, hence to why his name is Ears. But don't let him intimidate you because he loves his cuddles. So please remember to adopt, foster, volunteer, donate, educate, and share. For more information, check out leecountyhumane.org. This is Jakai Spikes and Jack West, Auburn's news leaders. Back to you in the studio. It's Severe Weather Awareness Week, and AU Campus Safety has some tips on how to be prepared for different severe weather situations. They emphasize the importance of proper preparations with ensuring plans are in place in case of severe weather, as well as staying informed through weather sources. For flash floods, stay on higher ground and avoid driving or walking into water, no matter how shallow. For tornado safety, be sure to know where your nearest shelter is and know the difference between watching or keeping a lookout and warning, where you take action and get to safety.
The 5th annual Mardi Gras Parade will be held this Saturday, the 26th at 3 p.m. in downtown Auburn. Streets along the parade route will close beginning at 1 p.m. The parade route will begin at the intersection at Thatch Avenue and College Street, traveling east on Thatch, north on Day Street, west on Tishner Avenue, south on College Street, and finishing where it started. All streets will reopen after the parade. When we come back, we'll take a national look on Ukraine, the Ahmaud Arbery trial, and an update on Queen Elizabeth. You're watching Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
We return now to Eagle Eye News at 6. A jury found the 3 men who killed Ahmaud Arbery guilty on a federal hate crime charge, backing prosecutors' case that the men chased the 25-year-old through the streets of a neighborhood because he was black. Chris Wynn has the details of the conclusion of the federal trial.
Justice for Ahmaud Arbery! Justice for Ahmaud Arbery!
On the eve of the second anniversary of Ahmaud Arbery's death, the 3 white men who killed him were found guilty on all counts in a federal hate crimes trial.
I, as a mom, will never heal.
Tuesday, Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan were convicted of interference of rights, a federal hate crime, and attempted kidnapping. The McMichaels were also found guilty of an additional firearms charge for using and carrying a firearm during a crime of violence.
They gave us a sense of a small victory, but we as a family will never get victory because Ahmaud is gone forever.
The jury found that the men attempted to chase Arbery and attempted to unlawfully confine him using their trucks as he jogged through their neighborhood outside Brunswick, Georgia in February 2020. Arbery's mother relieved with the verdicts after the judge rejected an earlier plea deal agreed to by prosecutors.
They didn't have a son that was lying in a cold grave.
All right, come on, Ron.
And they still didn't hear my cry.
All 3 men could now receive sentences of up to life in prison and heavy fines for the federal convictions. They're currently serving life sentences after being previously convicted of murdering Arbery in a separate state trial, although they have said they plan to appeal.
No one should fear that if they go out for a run, they will be targeted and killed because of the color of their skin.
I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
After months of military buildup, Russia has invaded Ukraine, which was once part of the Soviet Union. The death toll is climbing. More than 40 Ukrainian soldiers and up to 10 civilians have been killed. Isabel Rosales is in Washington on the latest sanctions outlined by President Biden.
President Joe Biden unleashing several more crushing economic sanctions against Russia, saying they're designed to, quote, maximize long-term impact on Russia and minimize the impact in the U.S. and its allies.
The United States is not doing this alone.
Biden says the new sanctions will block 4 major Russian banks from the U.S. financial system, freezing their assets.
We will limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen to be part of the global economy.
Before the first light of dawn, the Russian attack began. Missiles raining down on locations near the capital, Kyiv. Stunned Ukrainian families taking cover in subways turned bomb shelters.
They actually attacking in our neighborhood, and they're making us feel insecure and very unsafe.
Others scrambling to pull money out of ATMs or deadlocked in traffic to evacuate the capital city of Kyiv.
Well known.
In a chilling TV broadcast, Russian President Vladimir Putin warning other countries to not interfere.
Russia's response will be fast and leave you such consequences you will never face again, and you faced again in your history.
Biden unfazed in his response.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
The Queen is holding off on virtual engagements for the time being due to COVID-19. Elizabeth II is dealing with mild cold-like symptoms, according to a statement from Buckingham Palace. The 95-year-old monarch, who has been on the throne for 70 years, will continue with light duties. A source with ties to the palace says the Queen's ability to attend upcoming engagements will be determined in the next upcoming days. Officials announced the Queen's positive diagnosis on Sunday.
Astronomers are showing the world a view of space we have never seen before. NASA says this is an unprecedented image of a giant solar eruption. The eruption took place last Tuesday and stretched out over millions of miles into space. NASA and the European Space Agency's Solar Orbiter spacecraft captured the photo. The ESA said it is the largest solar prominence ever observed in a single image that includes the entire sun. A solar prominence happens when the sun ejects a huge explosion of light, solar material, and energy into the cosmos. In this eruption, the flare traveled away from Earth. When we return, Eagle Eye's Vince Wolfram has a sports update you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye at 6. I'm Vince Wolfram, here to give you the rundown on Auburn sports this week. This past weekend, Auburn basketball lost a close one against Florida, but the Tigers bounced back last night to defeat Ole Miss by 13. Zep Jasper and Jabari Smith both finished with 15 points, and Walker Kessler, with his 8 blocks last night, now holds the Auburn basketball single-season record for block shots. He was a mere 2 blocks away from his 3rd triple-double of the season with points, rebounds, and blocks. Auburn baseball and softball have started their seasons. The baseball team took down Troy last night 13-1. With the win, the Tigers are now 13-1 on the year. The softball team has been off to a great start, being ranked number 21 with a 10-1 record after beating Jacksonville State yesterday 10-0. Women's basketball plays their last home game of the season tonight against Ole Miss. For more information on Auburn sports, follow EETV_sports on Twitter and Eagle Eye Auburn_sports on Instagram. I'm Vince Wolfram, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. Grab some guacamole, or maybe some salsa, because today is National Tortilla Chip Day. Millions of people across the country love tortilla chips, so it's a great excuse to open up a bag. Tortilla chips are usually made from corn tortillas cut into wedges and then fried. They were originally known in Mexico as tostados, but were first mass-produced in Los Angeles in the 1940s. Of course, you can also use tortilla chips to make nachos, usually served with melted cheese and other toppings, like meat, salsa, and olives. Check out hashtag National Tortilla Chip Day on social media to help celebrate.
This month, Israeli farmer Chahi Ariel had one of his strawberries certified as the world's heaviest by Guinness World Records. The official weight is 10.19 ounces. It's 7 inches long and has a circumference of over 13 inches. The strawberry was bred by Israeli researcher Nir Dai and is one of the Elan variety. It is said the strawberry developed over 45 days. This new strawberry beat out the previous one from Japan, which weighed in at 8.82 ounces, discovered in 2015.
Meet Jimbo. This sweet senior is ready to show you his love and loyalty. Although he is older, that doesn't stop his younger side from showing. He gives good cuddles and loves to just hang out by your side. Jimbo is microchipped, vaccinated, fixed, and FIV/FELV negative. His adoption fee is only $115. Swipe right on Forever with Jimbo. We're out of time, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eagleeyeauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Nicholas Wetzel.
And I'm Jakai Spikes. Thank you so much for watching, and War Eagle.